Lola was a bright and cheerful student in Miss Johnson's class. She loved learning new things and making new friends. However, Lola had one major flaw. She was a glutton. She loved food and would do anything just to get her hands on some. Lola's classmates would often bring delicious snacks to school, and Lola would always beg them for some. She would claim she hadn't eaten breakfast or lunch and that she was starving. Her classmates, feeling sorry for her, would often give it to her demands. However, Lola's constant begging began to get on her classmates' nerves. They would often hide their food from her or tell her they didn't have any snacks. But Lola wouldn't give up. She would continue to beg and plead until someone finally gave in. One day, Lola's best friend, Sophie, decided to have a talk with Lola. Lola, I know you love food, but you need to stop begging people for their snacks. Sophie said, it is really getting annoying and people are starting to hide their food from you. Lola looked at Sophie with a mixture of anger and defensiveness. I am hungry, okay? I don't see why it is such a big deal. Sophie said, it is not just being about hungry, it is being about respectful of people's properties, and also you need to be careful about what you eat. You never know what kind of germs or illness you might pick from eating someone else's food. Lola rolled her eyes. I'll be fine, Sophie. Don't worry about it. But Sophie's words of warning fell on deaf ears. Lola continued to beg for food from her classmates and they continued to give it to her demands. One day, Lola's classmate Emily brought a delicious looking sandwich to school. Lola's eyes widened as she saw the sandwich and she immediately began to beg Emily for some. Emily, feeling sorry for Lola, decided to give her a small piece of sandwich. Lola devoured the sandwich in seconds and then asked Emily for more. Emily refused, telling Lola that she needed to eat it for her own lunch. But Lola was not satisfied. She continued to beg her for more until finally Emily gave her another small piece of sandwich. Unbeknownst to Lola, Emily had brought the sandwich from a mysterious food vendor who was rumored to put curses on his food. The vendor has given Emily the sandwich for free, telling her it was a special sandwich and it would give her a lot of energy. Emily had eaten some of the sandwich earlier that day, but she hadn't noticed anything out of ordinary. When Lola ate the sandwich, something strange began to happen. At first, Lola felt fine. She went about her day as usual, attending classes and chatting with her friends. But as the day wore on, she began to feel a little strange, creepy sensation in her head. It was as if something was crawling around inside her brain, making
highlifeng.com.
her feel dizzy and disorientated. Lola tried to shake off the feeling, but it only seemed to get worse. She began to feel headache and nausea, and she could feel her heart racing in her chest. As the day went by, Lola's behavior became more erratic. She would lash out on her family and friends for no reason and would often become dizzy and disorientated. However, her parents are worried sick about her and they didn't know what to do. One day, Lola's parent decided to take her to see a pastor. The pastor was a kind and wise man who was known for his ability to cast out evil spirits. When Lola arrived at the pastor's office, she was acting strange. She was laughing uncontrollably, her eyes had taken a strange glazed look. The pastor looked at Lola with a mixture of concern and compassion. What is going on with you, child? He asked. Lola's parent explained the situation to the pastor, telling him about Lola's strange behavior and her constant begging for food. The pastor listened intently, nodding his head from time to time. When Lola's parents finished speaking, the pastor turned to Lola and said, Lola, I want you to know that you are cherished and loved. But I also want you to know you have been deceived by an evil spirit. This spirit has been feeding on your gluten, lack, and self control. Lola looked at the pastor in shock. She never thought that her behavior might be influenced by an evil spirit. The pastor continued, but don't worry, Lola. We are going to cast out the evil spirit from you. The pastor laid his hand on Lola's head and began to pray. In the name of Jesus, I command you, evil spirit, to come out of Lola's body. You have no power over her, and you must leave her alone. The pastor prayed, and Lola began to feel a strange sensation in her body. It was as if something stirring inside her, trying to get out. She started to feel dizzy and disorientated, and she stumbled backward, almost falling to the ground. But Lola caught her, holding her steady as he continued to pray. Come out, evil spirit, he commanded. You have no power over Lola. Suddenly, Lola let out a loud scream and her body began to convulse. The evil spirit was fighting back, trying to maintain his hold on Lola's body, but the pastor was relentless, praying and commanding the spirit to leave. After what seemed like an eternity, the evil spirit let out a loud shriek and left Lola's body. Lola collapsed to the ground, exhausted but free from the evil spirit's influence. The pastor helped Lola to her feet, smiling warmly at her. You are free now, Lola, he said. You don't have to be controlled by that evil spirit anymore. Lola smiled back at the pastor, feeling a sense of relief and gratitude. Thank you, she said. I promise to be more careful in the future. From that day on, Lola made a conscious effort to be more mindful of what she ate and how she behaved. She learned to be contented with what her parents provided for her and stopped begging food from her classmates. As for the mysterious food vendor, he was never seen again in the village. Some said he was a sorcerer who has been using food to cast spells on unsuspecting villagers. Others said he was just a clever con artist who had been using his food to manipulate people. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain, Lola has learned a valuable lesson of being careful about what she ate and how she behaved, and she lived happily ever after, free from the influence of spirit and malicious food vendor. The moral lesson of this story is clear. Be careful of what you eat and pray before you eat. You might not know the kind of energies or spirits that might be attached to the food you consume. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this beautiful and amazing story. I hope you learned a lesson from it. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Share this video to your friends and your family or whoever needs to see it. Thank you so much, guys. Love you and be blessed. Bye.